What's up, guys? Darkvisor here. Been a while. Got a lot of reviews, game demos, and just reviews in general to get down to. But first things first, as always, a huge thank you and shout out to WayForward team for letting me review their games. As always, usually, unless it's something out of their hands, they usually let me review their games, and I thank them for that. But today we're going to be reviewing Rose and Camelia. And it's an indie game. It was originally made by a company or a group named Nagaro. I probably pronounced that wrong, and refined by WayForward and brought out, by them on the Nintendo Switch. The game, the game involves several characters. They're all involved in this family drama to claim one of several things. It's never just a set thing. There's one of the girls is after a house. Another one just wants to be powerful because she's angry because, the first girl beat her and she's a commoner to her. There's another girl there's twins that want to be maids for the family. It's just crazy. It's not really a plot-based game. It's pretty much just there as covering for a cake. It's nothing there. Oh, really? Like I said, in most of the plot, most of the characters you will meet, they pretty much just serve from getting from point A to point B, from who you face. And the characters, I will admit, the characters you face come in a wide variety. There is a Saint Seiya knockoff. There's a chubby mech suit with 3 people inside of it. You got to fight. That honestly, at that point in the game, that's one character I really hated, and I gave up on the game. I gave up. It was annoying, and you'll understand why. The maze I mentioned earlier, there's actually a fight where you have to fight both at the same time. And again, I'll get into later what their technique was, all in due time, my friends, all in due time. But it was interesting on the first playthrough, just seeing what the game would throw at you, because I've never seen the game. It's one of those odd indie type games that just can't come out of nowhere. Originally based on the Flash game, it is interesting. I will give it that. It is interesting concept. I would touch upon the music of the game, but there's really not anything to say for it. There's no memorable tracks in this game, honestly. This isn't your typical Shantae game or even, Double Dragon game. There's no really memorable soundtracks in this. The only songs I even recall right now, writing this review, when I wrote this review out, was pretty much just the opening credit song. That's it. Like literally, there's I can't even think in my head right now what music was playing during like the fights and stuff like that. But down to gameplay, this game is basically a reaction-based game. And with that, you will be slapping your opponent silly. This is literally a game that you will wear your arms out slapping. This is like an old Wii game, it felt like, honestly, with as much movement that you are doing with your arm at times. And it can be fun to see the reactions from both sides of your character and the character you're hitting when hands start flying and skin starts flapping. You will have a few moves. You can fake out your opponents because you use only one Switch remote. I was going through the Wii. You only use one Switch nunchuck. Is it a nunchuck? Is that what the Switch calls that? I just always call it just Switch controller. But you use one Switch controller basically for your slaps and your dodges. You swing it to your left to slap, and you swing it to your right to dodge. And again, you just use one controller. But you can do several moves. You can fake them out. Sometimes if you slightly tip the controller back, to the right, you can double slap them later in later chapters of the game. You can learn moves to double slap. You can punch your opponent. It gives you a few more techniques. You can just go straight to the game slapping, if you wanted to. But it gives you those extra techniques to kind of do a little bit more damage. And let me just touch on that point real quick. I didn't add that in the written review. I do wish there was a better health system in the game to kind of tell you what was going on, because, it's based on roses. Each character can say have 5 roses. You have 5 roses, your opponent has 5 roses. Each slap is meant, after so many slaps, your opponent will lose a rose. And sometimes one heavy slap will cause them to lose a rose. Sometimes it takes 2 to 3 slaps to get them to lose anything. And you can never tell when they're going to lose something. But when you get hit, though, it feels like no matter what happens, you get hit once, you lose a rose. But your opponent can take a beating. Even there was a mode that said equal health, I tried cutting that on, and there were some bosses that their health did not change. There was one boss, like I said, the giant mech suit. I stayed at 5 hearts, and they still had like 8, I believe. It was kind of crazy. But that also comes down to another big issue I have with the game. As fun as it is to start the game off, again, it starts out simple enough that you can have fun with it. It is silly, you can have fun with it, but when it works, it's fun. But more often than not, it did not work for me, and it felt truly unfair, and it comes off very luck-based. Let me emphasize very luck-based. It felt like many times when I wanted to give up after the fifth or seventh attempt on a boss, I get lucky and win. Sometimes I would get a multi-slap. I don't know how it happens. Sometimes after enough hard slaps, it'll tell you to grab your opponent. You can slap them repeatedly real fast. And sometimes, you know, I could get through 3 to 4 roses and knock them out. Other times, I would be waving my arm like a madman on a Black Friday sale, trying to, like, you know, say, hey, that's my TV over there. And I would do like maybe 1 rose, or sometimes not even a rose in general. I mean, I was slapping and wouldn't do anything. And it felt crazy, you know, because enemies in early chapters have pretty good tells also when they're about to attack you. And it sort of reminded me of the old Punch-Out games. I don't know who listens to these reviews, if it's younger people or older, but for older gamers, you would remember the old Mike Tyson Punch-Out games. And I think they had one on the Wii, you know, where like different boxers would give you tells, like, oh, they blink an eye, or, you know, they kind of do something funny to kind of get you to, you know, realize they're about to attack you. Early chapters, they would give pretty good tells. You know, like, oh, she literally just blinked at me. It gave me time to react. But in later chapters, it feels like they give you, I mean, even worse than Mike Tyson. They give you a split second to react to something, and they change how they attack you. It's not the same thing back to back. 1 second, it may be a normal tail where it's just them bringing their hand back, trying to slap you, and you can dodge that. But the second turn, they may have an item in their hand, like a fan or a milk carton, and they'll hit you with it because the tail's different. And sometimes the slap will come out faster than the milk carton, because in the milk carton, you're trying to dodge it fast, but oh no, there's a delay. Like, they'll wait 2 to 3 seconds before they'll hit you with the milk carton, so you'll get, you know, frustrated trying to learn that dodge, and then before you know it, you know, they'll do that 2 or 3 times and they'll switch back to slapping. So you can never really know. And it comes at you so fast, it's stressful. Very stressful, and it's annoying to even tell what to look for sometimes. You know. And sometimes the enemies, like I said, 1 round, they won't dodge any of your slaps. You know, sometimes I would get a slap every round. And say if I did lose that though, like they just hit me hard and I did lose. The next round, they'll dodge everything. Like, I'm sitting there and I'll try to fake them out and they'll still dodge it. And again, that comes back to the whole luck-based mechanic. It felt stressful because it's like, I want to enjoy this, but I'm stressed out trying to figure out what to do. It's not like, you know, a Dark Souls type stress where it's like, oh, okay, I died because I did something stupid or road. In this one, it feels more unfair in a way, you know. But I mean, I love a good challenge. Like I said, I played every Dark Souls games, you know, different, you know, genre, Shantae, you name it. What's that game called? Donkey Kong. You know, any game. I was trying to think of F-Zero, but I said Donkey Kong for some reason. That monkey is not in that game, but I don't mind a good challenge. But this one came off less challengeful and more stressful. You know, and stress in games, especially as you get older. When I get off work and stuff and I come home, I don't mind a good challenge, but this kind of stress, it made me want to put the game down, honestly. I was like, I just can't keep doing this, you know. And sometimes that's another issue I had with the game. The controls sometimes didn't work for me. I don't know if it's because I had a bad Switch controller, which I don't think I do, because every other game they work with. But sometimes I'd be trying to dodge, you know, and my character would like continuously dodge. Like, no, I just want to do one, and she would just keep coming back, like leaning back to dodge, and I would get hit. And other times, like the slaps, for instance, you can do a light slap or a heavy slap. Preferably, you always want to do heavy. And I, you know, sometimes I would be like swinging my controller trying to do a heavy slap, and I get nothing but light slaps. And then randomly, with the same amount of force and the same motion, I would get a heavy slap. And it felt so random that I couldn't really enjoy it, because it's like, I want to get through. I wanted to get through the fights, not because I was having fun, but because I wanted to get through them. And that's part of the biggest complaint, if you could take anything from this, is the fact that you know, I wanted to get through the fights, not because I was enjoying them, because they were stressing me out. You know, 'cause I wanted to see what was next, the next boss was. But again, you know, a game is fun when you want to get to the next boss because it's cool. Like the sirens in like Shantae or something like that, or you know, Crash Bandicoot, things like that. Like you want to see what the next boss is, you know. But in this, it was like, God, I just want to get through this. I'm stressed. I got off work. I just got done applying for my promotion packet. I'm looking for houses. I don't got time for this kind of stress, you know. But I will say there is a versus mode, so you can play the friend with the second controller if you want to. You know, same technique. You can play through all the characters in the game. So that is something to add to the game if you want to, you know. But besides that, there's not really much else to this game. You know, there's an extra chapter that you can unlock in the settings. You go to settings and there's an extra chapter, a bonus chapter you can unlock after the, you know, 5 main ones. Besides that, there's not much else to the game, honestly. And at $20, it's not a bad price for a game. So, I mean, if you like these type of games like this, you know, and you don't mind the stress and you have some extra money to burn, it's $20. It's not a full price game. But for me, as you guys know, if I want to be honest, and I'm one of those guys, I will tell you how it is. You know, some people will hype up things regardless of what it is, but I will tell you the truth. Honestly, I'd wait for a big sale for this game. Honestly, I think right now there's a sale for 25% off. If it was me and I had the choice to do it again, like I said, I'd wait till at least half off for this game. Even at $20, it's a little much just from the amount of stress it gave me, you know. But you can still have fun with it. I mean, if you see it and say, hey, I don't mind putting $20 down on this. I don't mind trying it out. And like, again, starting out the game's fun starting out. But I will tell you, later chapters, it does get very hard and it does get very stressful. But again, it gets hard in the luck-based way, not in the skill-based, it feels like to me. Again, it's one of those heavy reaction-based games where you have to be on your toes for what's going to happen. And again, the difficulty spikes toward the later chapters feel super luck-based. There are many times, again, I won, but it didn't feel like a good win. It felt like I just won it by the skin of my teeth, and not in a good way. But that's all I gotta say for right now, guys. Again, if I was to recommend this game, wait for a huge sale. That's my bottom line for this right now. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I had fun writing it out. I had fun testing the game out, but again, it's a little too stressful for me. But, you know, regardless, thanks again, guys, for always listening. I got more things to do. I got a ton of stuff to do tonight, you know, house hunting, all that good stuff. But hey, until next time, you guys stay awesome, and I'll talk to you later.